The first time they took Nnamdi Kanu to court in their own, Nnamdi Kanu brought only 2 judgments. Look at the 2 judgments. Court ordered that Simon Ekpa brought the 2 judgments. Only 2 judgments. Show the court. Look at the 2 judgments given by the court in Nigeria, asking that they should release Nnamdi Kanu. They refuse. So, and the country that are civilized, and that is what is making me to be. So I'm the oldest lawyer in this Nnamdi Kanu's legal team. All the people that I started handling this matter since 2014, 15, they have all left. All the new lawyers there now, they met me there.
Why did they leave?
When I'm traveling outside, my body will be telling me that, Master, you don't belong here. Their weather, their food, their language will be, my body will tell me, especially those of us that are born and brought up in the village. So this is our country. And when you see most of us fighting like this, want to get here right, I can't leave another place. I don't know how to manage. Any police officer you see that is using the gun government give him to kill innocent citizens, don't allow them to kill you first. Collect it and kill them first. For an instant that police will tell you if you are coming out, yeah, they say, didn't you know that today is sit at home? A police officer, compliant, banned, schools,
and it could be out of fear.
That is what I'm saying. Which means you are incapable.
So that means they fear the leadership of whoever is speaking. That's what that implies.
Which means that is not state actor now. That's not state actor.
Yes, they fear him enough to know that he could harm them.
What is interested in intention of you making that statement?
So what would be, and I understand what you're saying,
yeah,
the intention of statements, which makes sense, but I'm just wondering what would be the intention of somebody like Nnamdi Kanu when he speaks about people should sit at home and do pretty much little or no work.
For what? Sit at home. Sit at home. It's a voluntary decision. Who is Nnamdi Kanu? Nnamdi Kanu just came, and an average Igbo man felt that he has lost. Nobody is speaking for us. As Nnamdi Kanu came, an Igbo man now
embraced him.
This one that is talking for us, let us support him. That is just it. To me, I may be wrong. If they did not amend the Electoral Act, you won't see me wasting my time coming to do what? Don't you know who will win? If you are a president and you are doing well, and you have a functional healthcare, as you let them to understand, if you are sick, you should. Have you seen Trump going outside America, coming to Nigeria to take medical treatment? No, but you go to France. There is absence of rule of law in Nigeria. There is absence of fundamental rights here. There is
complete absence or just not practicing.
Anyway, when something is 80% is A. The problem of Nigerians, as we speak now, is we lawyers and judges.
Which makes me come back to what you had mentioned, the limit to what you can say. Would you say, for example, Nnamdi Kanu, the build up to the situation where we have him facing legal proceedings now, and I'm taking you way back into the era of his broadcast, era of his dissemination of certain kind of information, in which is classified as a breach of national security. Do you think it violated the rights of the country, a country like Nigeria, with the kind and choice of words he used in expressing his opinions, his views, and one would say his rights?
Well, I may not go into that particular issue on the following reasons. One, I'm a member of the legal team. I'm not only a member of the legal team, I'm the oldest lawyer in this Nnamdi Kanu's legal team. All the people that I started handling this matter since 2014, 15, they have all left. All the new lawyers there now, they met me there.
Why did they leave?
It's a choice. Either you live on your own or Nnamdi Kanu may say, please excuse yourself, you're not giving me what I want. So I don't want to go into that. Now, secondly, the trial is ongoing. And in our ethics, once a matter is in court, you don't speak about it. But I must say, I doubt whether there is any part of Europe that I have not stepped in my leg. And not only stepping in my leg, I have interacted with most of them. I'm a member of International Bar Association Human Rights Committee. We travel almost every 2 months. And then when you see what is happening in other nations and compare with what is happening in your own, you feel ashamed. Femidi, last year, November, we went to Mexico for IBA conference. And we were discussing about Human Rights Committee in my own section. So when you want to speak, you take mic, you introduce yourself. And fortunately for me, I was happy. The Fabemi SAN, the Attorney General, was there. The then MDA President Mikhail was there. I think I have Tamboa also was there. I have about some judges were there. Many judges, many SAN, they were there. So when I took on the mic and introduced myself, which country I mentioned Nigeria, you see reaction. You see how people are making jest of us. So I felt somehow as a Nigerian. I said, okay, I have to control myself. I asked my question. And I used that opportunity to ask IBA should help Nigerians. Can't we as a body of lawyers in the whole world formulate a policy, go to UN, go to everywhere. If you are in your own country, there is absolute absence of medical health, education, amenities, absence of human rights, you will be restricted from traveling out of your country. Or better still, all these countries, the Europe, the UK, the US, will stop giving you visa, especially medical tourism. Can't we do it in that way? I was bold enough to mention the immediate past president and the current president, President Tinubu. I used them as a case study. I say, I can't see the reason why.
Do you mean about their medical leave?
Yes, because if you are a president and you are doing well, and you have a functional healthcare, as you let them to understand, if you are sick, you should. Have you seen Trump going outside America, coming to Nigeria to take medical treatment? No, but you go to France. So I presented it. Now, back to what we are talking about, so that I don't deviate. Human rights is one of the things that will project you. Human rights is one of the country. If, let me just give Simon Eba.
Okay, that's a good example. I was going to go there.
As an instance, I went to Finland by March last year. I finished my program in Paris. I went to Finland. I went to understand their own judicial system. And I was made to understand that Finland is the only country in Europe that doesn't have bilateral agreement with any other country. What am I trying to say? So when they say that Finland are going to extradite Nnamdi Kanu, I look at them and laugh.
But Finland is part of EU, and I presume when you're part of a body, you're subject to some of the laws and regulations around that body.
That will not stop you from being a sovereign state. You are still a sovereign state. You know what is good for you. And as a matter of fact, international law is what I research on it in my PhD.
Okay, but I still want you to finish your point about Finland and their laws and why they will not extradite Simon Ekpa.
So that's where I'm coming. So in the course of my research during my PhD, I discovered that extradition is a very serious law. And one of the things they consider, you are a number one Boko Haram known in Nigeria. You have destroyed life. You have destroyed property. Now you have run into a particular country. Let me just use Kenya as an instance. And you are caught there as a fugitive. The extradition law said Kenya people will now apply, the country, assuming that you're in Nigeria, you apply to Kenya, telling them that this particular person, Mr. A, is a terrorist. We are looking for him. Now, Kenya the law said upon receiving your application,
yes,
they will arrest the fugitive. And they took the fugitive, I take the fugitive to their own court, that with jurisdiction. Example, if it's Nigeria Federal High Court. Now, you attach the investigation report in that application. You attach the charge you have preferred for the person. You attach everything, evidence.
But if that is the scenario, I'm just thinking of Interpol also being involved.
Yes. So they're working together. Because remember that it's Interpol that will still come and pick the person. So when you now attach all these documents, the law said, extradition law said, upon seeing all these things with your evidence, they will now approach court. The court will now ask the person, fair hearing, you committed this offense. Tell us the reason why we should not take you to your country or to the country in question for you to go and face a trial. After hearing from you, the next step is, 1, to check that country whether there is human rights there. I thank God that you brought in this issue, and I believe that our leaders will hear it. They will check the level of human rights there. If you are a country that observe human rights, that one is one. Then they will not check whether your life will be protected there. After checking that your life will be protected, they will not check whether you have justice there.
So what if in a scenario, and I'm following you carefully,
Yes,
when it comes to
procedure.
the procedure,
Yes,
and the procedure is on one part,
Yes.
and there's also the contingency of if such a person, even when there are procedures around what they can do or whether they're fugitive or not, if such a person still continues to embark on, let's say, a call to action, a certain level of call to action, where what is being accused of,
remember
Yes.
remember that the person is already in the custody in that country.
yes, but has not hesitated to possibly continue to disseminate his call to action through his disciples, if I would say.
No, that one is a different ballgame.
Why is it different?
The different ballgame is that the person is, you said you want to extradite him to the country. That is the issue. We are talking about, I want to link it up to tell you the reason why human rights, because we are talking about human rights. I'm just giving you implications why you should ensure that you observe human rights in your country. I wish that I have time, so that it's good that when this kind of program, especially human rights, you let people understand. I'm still at the international level. I've not come to the domestic level. When I'm talking about this international level is that it's the one that affects I and you. It's not enough for you to go and convince somebody to come, a foreign investor, to come and invest in your country. There are some things that they will check, especially human rights, rule of law. So after all these things, the law said, having checked this thing, if they discover that there is no human right in your country, that country will not check whether they have the same law with that country, especially Kenya, using Kenya,
Kenya,
Nigeria, whether that terrorism offense which you have sent, that there is evidence, whether Kenya can try it.
So
if Kenya can try it, the law said try him in Kenya.
So let me understand a little bit more, and I'm trying to understand perspective. And I do know, for example, Simon Ekpa's case with Finland. I don't know if it's a case, but it's of interest to organizations around the world.
Yes.
Both some of the UN organizations and every of the other bodies.
Yes.
And I can imagine that if that was done against Finland, certain statements about what needs to be done, right, against Finland as a country, will they sit and be quiet about it? And then it brings forward the question about, what about in good faith? If peradventure, I mean, there are cases such as Julian Assange, right? Leaked cases, he has human rights, he stays in an embassy. I don't even know which embassy he is now. But it's of interest that when you do disseminate information, whether true or not true, or you have statements that have strong implications to national security of another country, there should be response from the host country, don't you think so?
And Femidi, we're talking about law. We're talking about the rule of law. Femidi, do you know that if we go out here and go for bid, we saw armed robbers killing people alive. The judge saw the armed robbers kill the person with the AK-47. The Attorney General saw it. The Nigerian Bar Association saw it. Everybody witnessed it. Evidence are there. The law said the procedure must be followed. You must get him arrested. That's what we are talking about law. You must get him arrested. Not only getting him arrested, you must subject him to investigation. Police will investigate him. He will write a statement. After writing a statement, you will bring his own lawyer to give him fair hearing. After giving him fair hearing, you arraign him in that court. Remember that the judge, when he was going to work, witnessed everything.
Yes.
The judge will allow prosecution to prove his case. Femidi, do you know that when you go to court and the man said, guilty or not guilty, I'm guilty, convict me. The law said, the judge, you cannot convict. Prosecution, prove your case. I don't know whether you're getting what I'm saying.
I do follow you.
The law will say, prosecution, prove your case. And if you charge him for armed robbery and murder, and there is 4 elements for you to prove murder, there's 4 elements for you to prove armed robbery. If you prove 3.5, if you do not prove the other half, you'll be set free. Remember that he has accepted, he has pleaded guilty. Court will say, prove your case. And if he fail to prove all those elements, court will change that he's guilty to no guilty.
So despite the fact that the person on trial says, I am guilty,
you prove it.
The prosecution has to prove it.
You must prove it.
And if they can't prove it completely, the judge will rule
it. Convert that he's guilty to non-guilty and discharge him.
It brings me forward to the question of some of the arrests in the country as we have it going on, including Nnamdi Kanu, which you one of the.
Do you know why I'm giving you this instance?
Yes.
Do you know why I don't want to bring Nnamdi Kanu's own? Because it's on trial. But I'm giving you a scenario that is related to that.
Oh yes, I understand the scenario game, and I do believe the others are following through.
So people want Simon Ekpa to come down here and face his trial. That's what people. That's make
Really?
That is the question. Now, tell me the reason why Finland refused. The woman who was the ambassador of Finland that time, when they met him, he said Nigeria should do their own. Nigeria should. Nobody is happy. I'm living in Nigeria here as an ambassador of a Finnish government to this place. But Nigeria should do their own. What is their own?